fellas. We can be that mistake. Let's do this. Hey, y'all.
Hey, guys.
We are Embraces X21.
Yes, we are.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm Daniel.
Now, a lot of y'all we know have come over from our F1 videos. We've been doing motorsports for a while now. We've done Formula One.
Yes.
We've done Australian V8 supercars. We've done the Taurus Trophy motorcycle thing, V8 supercars, rally.
Yeah.
But we haven't done NASCAR yet.
The very beginning we did
NASCAR
crash compilation.
Right.
Oh, no. It wasn't a compilation. It was that crazy finish.
Well, yeah. But also we did a NASCAR compilation of crashes. But well, a lot of you, we know it's like a UK and Europe base, but you'll kind of want us to kind of explain how NASCAR and how it goes. Now, full disclaimer, I am the big NASCAR guy of the two of us. Dan, I grew up in North Carolina, which is the NASCAR capital of the world. If you want to work in tech, you go to San Francisco. If you want to make country music, you go to Nashville. If you want to make it in NASCAR, you go to North Carolina.
Yep.
It's that kind of thing. So I was raised with it. I grew up with it. I know it inside and out. And for reference, my all-time favorite driver is Jeff Gordon, and my favorite of modern times is Chase Elliott.
What makes Jeff Gordon your favorite?
He was just a really awesome driver. It was him versus Dale Earnhardt in the 90s, him versus Dale Jr. in the 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the protege of Jimmy Johnson, who is the other 7-time champion besides Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr.
Not Tom Petty, guys.
Not Tom Petty. But also, lost my train of thought. He was also like the Yankee, the guy who wasn't from the South, the pretty boy.
Yeah.
The one that everybody loved to hate.
Yeah.
And me being the rebellious son of a bitch that I am, did not root for Earnhardt. I rooted for Gordon just to be a big pain in the ass.
Gotcha.
And Chase Elliott, when he came in, he took over Jeff Gordon's ride when he retired in 2015. He drives the 9 now, Chase Elliott, but still.
Was he ever the 24?
He was the 24 in the
very beginning?
the first 3 years of his career, but then he switched over to 9 because that's his father Bill Elliott's number.
Interesting.
So we're gonna check this out, and hopefully we'll educate Dan
for real,
and we will educate
for me
and for y'all for y'all.
You guys can watch it too. I guess
This is from F1 fan something, but beginner's guide to NASCAR. Here we go.
Let's do it.
It's fast, it's loud, and it's about as American as it gets. I'm talking, of course, about NASCAR. To many people over here in Europe, NASCAR seems somewhat impenetrable as a series. I mean, stages? Playoffs? Competition cautions? But with the NASCAR Cup Series off-season in full swing, I thought it would be a great idea to try and introduce it to some of you folk who may not be so familiar with the series. This is the beginner's guide to NASCAR.
All right, can you time out for a sec?
Yeah.
This is funny. This whole thing is. I wasn't expecting this voice to be telling me about NASCAR.
Yeah. Well,
this is cool. It's cool because it bridges our worlds.
Exactly.
This is not who I was thinking I was about to learn about NASCAR.
I knew, from the channel F1 fan, I knew it was gonna be. Let me get this guy's name right. I want to be sure.
Threw me off, man.
F1 fan 0001. All right, thank you for making this.
Shit threw me off. I was like, I'm expecting, and then this guy. Nothing against the southern accent. I just was expecting that.
Boy, you better be careful what you say.
Shoot. All right. Let's do it.
Let's go. Oh, this is episode 1.
Cool.
The NASCAR Cup Series held its first race on June the 19th, 1949 in Charlotte, North Carolina, which makes it officially older than Formula One. Since then, a lot has changed in the sport, going from nearly showroom fresh street cars that still had the bench seats and the AM radios installed, all the way to today's high-tech space frame chassis monsters. Modern cars feature a 358 cubic inch naturally aspirated V8 engine, which transmits power to the rear wheels through a 4-speed H-pattern gearbox. Up front, double wishbone suspension is featured with a live rear axle at the rear. Driving aids such as traction control and anti-lock brakes are prohibited. The space frame chassis is covered in a 24-gauge sheet metal body that has to conform to strict templates for each manufacturer and is customized for each type of track visited.
Wait, so one car, is that like one to rule them all? It's specific cars for specific courses?
Yeah. There's ones for restricted plate tracks like Daytona and Talladega. There's ones for road courses.
Restricted plate tracks. What is that?
It's like the big super speedways that are huge, huge speeds.
Okay.
Like they used to use tapered restricted plates on the carburetors to slow the cars down. You were going like 230, 240 miles an hour.
Wow.
And there were huge wrecks and deaths, and they put the restricted plate on there, and it slowed it down to 180, 190, sometimes 200.
Still fucking fast. But
Yeah. And a lot of this might be dated by the time this comes out, because in 2022 they're coming out with the next gen car.
Oh my god.
Which is one change is it's a 5-gear sequential shift in there, as opposed to a 4-speed H pattern.
Huh. All right, cool.
So that's one thing. Just want to put that out there.
The NASCAR Cup Series visits 4 main types of track, each one with entirely different requirements in terms of setups and racing style. The most common is the Speedway. These are between 1 and 2 miles in length and can vary in shape, from the D shape of Charlotte in Kentucky to the more paperclip shape of Homestead, Miami. These are seen as the standard track in NASCAR and boomed from the late 1990s to today. Despite being the most modern tracks, fans often lament the fact that the tracks are somewhat samey and offer less interesting racing than the other circuits. Wait, cookie-cutter tracks that produce mediocre racing replacing classic venues we all know and love? See, F1 fans? We aren't alone after all.
Alright, someone, F1 fan, you're going to have to talk about us in the comments about that one.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, is that like a cookie-cutter type track? Because what they're saying is accurate, like Charlotte, Atlanta, Kentucky, which is not on the schedule anymore, and Homestead. The mile-and-a-half ones, cookie cutters, Kansas, those are all, they've gotten very boring. And
you're just like, meh.
Yeah, they're snooze fests, essentially. But with this next-gen car, they're trying to make it race like, pack racing, so we'll see. Anyway, Let's continue.
Next up are the short tracks. These ovals of less than 1 mile in length include Martinsville Speedway and Richmond Raceway in Virginia, as well as Bristol Speedway in Tennessee. NASCAR short track racing offers close contact racing and a very high level of intensity from start to finish, which often leads to drama both on the track.
Oh, I remember this.
Here comes Logano. Logano on the inside. A drag race. They're sideways. And it's going to be Logano getting the win.
That was an amazing finish. I remember that, 2018.
Yeah?
Yeah. Martinsville, I was born 20 minutes away from there, and I grew up there. I had season tickets.
That's awesome.
Awesome racing. But Bristol is the one, when I take you to your first NASCAR race, we're going to Bristol.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
I'm in it.
And off the track.
Stop.
Joey Logano. That's short track racing.
Jesus.
Up third are the road courses, because yes, NASCAR does feature right turns, and yes, it does race in the rain on these tracks.
Yes.
Although not
Thank you.
on the ovals, because,
Joe Nemechek out and see if he came out or not. But these are guys that are trying to make the race. Oh, we got trouble.
I think it's raining. It's raining over there.
It is
Holy
raining on the back
shit.
over the racetrack.
Mike Bliss, one of those that broke free. You see the 97 of Joe Nemechek and heavy damage.
That's Benny Gordon, the 91
Yeah,
car.
to Benny Gordon at 91.
The series mixes up both oval-derived road courses like the ones at Daytona and Charlotte, as well as the likes of Watkins Glen, Sonoma Raceway, and, as of 2021, the Circuit of the Americas.
Yep. Circuit of Americas was awesome.
Finally, there are the super speedways. The super speedways of Daytona and Talladega are probably what you would think of first when someone mentions NASCAR to you. The circuits are high speed and are all about staying in the draft from the car in front. The result is incredible pack racing, with huge lines of cars going 2, 3, and sometimes even 4 wide for lap after lap, and then occasionally causing a massive pileup.
Yep, that's what you think of. Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby, anybody?
On a side note, you may notice something different about the cars when they compete on the short tracks. On ovals over 1.3 miles in length, the cars will run at 550 brake horsepower and have a large rear spoiler. At 8 inches tall, it is so high that at the top a transparent section has to be included so that the drivers can see something other than their own car in their rearview mirror. This large spoiler creates lots of drag and aids drafting and overtaking at the bigger tracks. In contrast, at the short tracks, the rear spoiler is reduced to 2 3/4 inches in height, and power is increased to 750 brake horsepower to ensure that dirty air doesn't become an obstacle to good racing at the tracks without the large straights to allow for drafting. Right then, with that out of the way, it's finally time to throw the green flag and start the race. If you're coming straight from watching Formula One, it's worth remembering that the excitement in the race tends to be the reverse of Formula One's. The most exciting laps tend to be right towards the finish, so just settle in and enjoy for now.
Yep, get the first like
Okay, so
180 laps
we're a
out.
short way into the race. The order has settled for the time being, and what's this? A caution? Is there rain on our speedway? No. Is there debris around? No. Has a car crashed somewhere? Nope. This is a competition caution. The competition caution has been seen a lot through 2020 thanks to the scrapping of qualifying and practice sessions. But in a normal race, it is only really thrown if there's been a change in the track conditions since qualifying, usually brought about by overnight rain. It allows the teams to come in and adjust the setups of their cars to suit the new conditions and to change the tyres. Ordinarily, cars would lose a lap to the leader in most tracks if they pitted under green flag conditions, so teams would be hesitant to come in and make the changes. Under all cautions, the first car that is a lap down is allowed to unlap itself, which is known as the free pass.
Or the lucky dog.
So, the caution period's all sorted and it's almost time for the restart. On the final lap, under caution, the choose cone comes into effect.
Oh yeah.
This is a painted V-shape on the track just after the start-finish line. Drivers will need to make a tactical choice on whether to take the preferred racing line on the restart or take the worst line but perhaps start in a higher position as a result. It's only a minor rule introduced in 2020, but so far it's actually really mixed up the running order and produced quite a lot of excitement on the restarts. Now,
Oh yeah. That there is an old short track thing, like local dirt tracks will they have to choose cone where you could choose which lane you start in for the restart.
Huh.
Yeah.
So if you choose a worse one, you may be further up,
Right.
and it's basically 100% skill in trying to get out, right?
Right.
Whereas you pick the optimum race lane, you might be starting way back,
Right.
but it's still optimal. Oh.
So it's a gamble. It's a 50-50 shot in the dark.
Huh.
It's whatever you're feeling at the time.
Cool.
If you're feeling lucky, punk.
Cool.
every motorsport fan around the world has experienced the same conversation with someone at some point in their lives. You know, the one that usually comes to an abrupt end when the other person says something like, I don't know, I only watch the first and last laps because they're the only interesting ones. Well, a few years ago in a NASCAR meeting in some swanky hotel, no doubt, they were having a big discussion about that exact thing. So, how do we get people to watch more of the race if they're only interested in the first and last laps? I know. You've just got to have more of them first laps and last laps, ain't you? You know? Oh, if you excuse me, I'm off to the bar on the company credit card. Wait, that's absolutely genius. Jenkins, you're a madman. I love you.
That's about how it happened.
And that's kind of how we ended up with stage racing. The race is broken up by the green and white checkered flag 2 times in every race, apart from the Coca-Cola 600. The caution is thrown out, everybody pits, and we go through the whole restart period again that I just mentioned a bit ago. At the end of each stage, points are awarded to the top 10 finishers, along with a playoff point to the driver who was in the lead at the end of the stage. But we'll get to the playoff points in a little bit. So, we've navigated our way through the race. We've survived cautions, restarts, the stages, and the inevitable big one if we're dealing with a super speedway.
Yeah, I just want to say, I love this the whole stage racing thing. Because like, I mean, you get one of these long races, like the action goes down, and you need an opportunity, to go to the bathroom or go get a beer or something. It's good for the fans, and it's definitely good for the competition. If you're having a bad day, you can make an adjustment and get yourself back into the running.
It's just interesting. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That just leaves us with one final piece of NASCAR oddity to deal with, the championship format. Worried about how audiences tend to turn off after the championship is sealed, NASCAR introduced a system for the championship that guarantees that the title will be decided at the final race of the season. The first 26 races of the season form the regular season, where drivers are trying to qualify for the playoffs. Quite simply, win a race and you are in to the 16-car playoff field. So if we take the winners for the 2020 regular season, you'll get this as your playoff field. But hang on, only 11 drivers won a race during the regular season. So what now? Well, the top scoring drivers for the season so far fill out any remaining places, and then your playoff field is set. Now, only one of these 16 drivers can win the championship over the next 10 races. Once the field is set, everybody's points are reset, and then any playoff points accumulated throughout the season are added in, which gives drivers who've already booked a spot in the playoff right at the start of the season an incentive to keep on pushing. The round of 16 lasts for 3 races, and once again, you win a race and you advance to the next round, and then everybody else fights for points. After those 3 races are up, the bottom 4 are dumped out of the playoffs and can no longer win the championship. We repeat this after another 3 races, and then again, and so on, until 4 drivers are left ahead of the final race of the season. Whoever out of these 4 drivers finishes highest up the order is your NASCAR Cup Series champion. Well, that kind of just about covers it for now. I hope you enjoyed our little stateside journey.
So is the last race just 4 cars?
No, it's the entire field. It's the entire 40-car field, but only 4 drivers can win the championship.
So is there a benefit to even being part of the race?
Sponsors, get a consolation prize of winning. But it just happens to have been like this, like ever since this format was introduced in 2014. Is that the person who won the championship also won the race, because that's pretty much what you had to do. And it's not a requirement.
So you could basically be shit until the championships.
Yeah.
And if you win, you win, and that's like, well, you just had a good day, I had a bad day.
Right.
And this kind of takes that out of play.
Yeah, and you could technically you could win the first 35 races, every one of them,
and be disqualified.
Not disqualified.
No.
You'll lose the championship if you finish second in that last race.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, let me just finish this up.
If you did, then give it a like, let me know. And in the comments, let me know if there's any other series that you would like to have a little beginners.
Yeah, well, thanks, F1 fan, 0001 for making this video. We'll give it 2 thumbs up from a hardcore NASCAR guy. You nailed it on this one.
And it's very informative.
Yeah.
I think this is something I'm gonna have to watch a couple times. To
Yeah.
be honest, like it's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, especially for someone that's just kind of like getting into it. It's a lot, but it breaks it down so it's understandable.
Yeah.
A lot less questions.
Great. I'm glad we could do that for you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And guys, thanks for suggesting that we do it. I mean, a whole point of this channel is to discover new things, and it's good to visit something that at least one of us is very familiar with and share it with y'all. It's it's a back and forth thing.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah. So
and this gives you a taste for those who just think NASCAR is just an oval.
Right.
Because
last year there was 7 road courses.
That's crazy.
The next coming year there'll be 6, but hey, there's a lot more than 2, which is what it was.
So I mean, it's not. I'll put it this way. I mean, as an outsider, not biased in any way, shape, or form, you have your Formula One, who drive like aerospace tech cars that should be sending out into space instead they're racing them.
Mm-hmm.
Where NASCAR is like, it's like, to me, it's like you have your professional boxer, and then you have your brawler.
Yeah.
NASCAR is like the brawler.
Yeah.
Like the bar fighter.
Exactly.
Where you can bump and grind and get it out, whereas, your performance fighter.
Mm-hmm. Right. They're putting on too much art into this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I feel like, this to me it's nice to see you can bump someone and not have a 200-mile-an-hour fucking explosion.
Exactly.
And be dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of cool. It's like anyway. I like the fact that you have a somewhat of a sturdier car around you where you can get away with bumping and hitting and grinding out,
Yeah, and they're based off, actual cars you can buy. Like, right now it's the Chevy Camaro, the Ford Mustang, and the Toyota Camry are being driven. And so you can buy those.
You can't really buy a Formula 1 car. I mean, I guess you could.
You could, but it'll be expensive as fuck.
And you're not driving it.
Yeah. But, hey, we've talked a while about this,
Hell
haven't we? Let's wrap it up here. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting the bell and sharing with your friends.
Definitely, guys.
And let us know, if there's something, not just, motorsport, just something that Americans, are really into that you'd like to kind of have our input on.
Like jousting.
Jousting? Jousting.
It's the official sport of Maryland.
Yeah, or lacrosse, something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, until that time, wash your hands, scrub your toes, wipe your ass, blow your nose.
And embrace the suck, guys.
See y'all next time.